But to recap, last week I talked about how Haley and Kamu are trying to make Lala seem aggressive, and now they are trying to do things to make her be aggressive.
I put honey on the fridge.
Haley and her botched old ass face laughing. What's up, everybody? Yesterday was another day of feeds. It's been 2 weeks of this game, and I feel like everybody on the cast continues to deliver very little decent gameplay and even less entertainment. In fact, yesterday definitely had way more feed cuts than entertaining conversations, to say the least. We will start with yesterday morning and Devens telling Rome that he was indeed going to take Lyric off the block, saying, "I'm sorry, but also you're welcome." Devens then had a similar conversation with Lyric. So yes, Devens decided to officially make it that he wants to backdoor someone by taking down a person who would for sure vote for the person that he's backdooring to stay. You know, as if it's not already hard enough to backdoor with the blockbuster. It kind of takes away the backdoor, but now Devon's making it possibly even harder by taking Rome's showmance off the block, who would love to vote for Rome to stay. The logic has not been logicking by or from Devon's HOH or from the vet's plans this week. In general, Kamu told Melody that she is staying if Lyric comes down. Don't worry. Kamu making promises to Melody that she has the votes to stay. If I was Melody, I would again think back to the fact that I was not in that room that night when 8 people met. So how does Kamu know I have the vote to stay? Shouldn't I want to do something about that 8-person alliance that for sure met in a room one night without other people? It's very impossible for me to think why so many people that were not in that room seem to not really be trying to have a plan together. It's not making sense why the people not in that room have not become cohesive, because they know for a fact that 8 people were up in a room without them. So you are the other side. I don't know. Kamu, however, is one of the only people besides Drew who is actively trying to keep up with side allies, in my opinion. He's definitely doing that with Melody, with Taylor. I feel like Drew's the only one that does that consistently too. So props to Kamu with that. Yash, meanwhile, yesterday was told like an hour before the veto that Rome was going to get backdoored. Yash not seemingly caring that he's finding this out at the last minute, because Yash is basically a non-factor in this game right now. Nobody listens to a single thing he says. He has zero agency. I kind of wish he wasn't there. He's bringing nothing to this cast overall. People just mock him behind his back because all of Yash's plans suck. In fact, there was a comical moment yesterday on feeds when Dee heard about Yash's alliance. Dee asked if she could join, and Drew said, "I don't think he knows he's allowed to be in alliances with women." So Yash even getting called out for just wanting to bro down with guys. Period. Rome and Haley talked it out, their whole ordeal after the nomination ceremony. Haley apologized to Rome for saying he had small balls, even though she does think it was funny. Rome said they can banter, but he wants them to be okay living together. Maybe they'll even have a chance to work together in the future. Rome is playing a very low-key social game right now, trying to mend his place in the house. But I feel like he only has a social game right now. And I feel like he is lacking that bigger picture. They're still lacking this army behind Rome. And I don't know if that side of the house is ever going to get it together and actually become a real side. They're still very dissected. Rome told Angela that there was a rumor going around that Angela was the ringleader of everything that went on. Angela asked where he heard that. Rome said it was from Jason, but that Jason heard it from someone else. I don't think Angela is blaming Jason for that news as of yet. And if she is, I feel like it came before she and Jason made up. If they've really even made up, it's hard for me to tell. With Angela, I never know what the fuck she's actually thinking, because sometimes she's not actually here down in reality with the rest of us. Maybe Angela will blame Drew for that information, like she's blaming Drew for a lot of things, because Drew did start that information. Drew and Devens are talking about how Lala needs to be a have-not next week. They really want to set her off. Lala in a lot of people's mouths on that Hateful Eight Alliance's side, because a lot of them are obsessed with villainizing Lala. I would say that Drew and Devens and Haley and Kamu have done a lot trying to villainize Lala this season. And now, to annoy Lala and make her a target, they've been coming up with ideas to try and make her go off. You know, Haley put honey on the fridge, Devin messing with towels.
I put honey on the fridge.
Haley and her botched old ass face laughing. And for anyone who's been crying in the comments when I say that Haley has an old ass face, it's not my fault that you can't handle the truth. That she has had botched plastic surgery in her 20s and now she has an old hateful face. But to recap, last week I talked about how Haley and Kamu are trying to make Lala seem aggressive, and now they are trying to do things to make her be aggressive. And Lala has been upset at times with people being loud too late at night, or people not cleaning up after themselves, because, you know, she's been doing a lot of cleaning. She also does the cooking. Like, she has reasons to be annoyed with people not cleaning in their dirty ass house, in a house that always has ants. So this quest to try and make her seem aggressive, I don't like it, and I will continue to call that alliance hateful. Devens did end up using the power of veto on Lyric, and Rome and Lyric, of course, happy with this. Rome is worried that if he is sitting next to Mallory, it's going to be hard for him to stay. But Lyric is feeling so lucky that she has Rome by her side. She's very thankful for Rome to, you know, helping her get off the block this week, which he did. She did later talk about feeling terrible that she's off the block and Rome's now on the block to Mallory. And Rome seems happy with Devens for doing the respectable choice that if he's going to put Rome on the block, taking Lyric off the block. Even as illogical as that was for Devens, maybe it did buy him a little bit more socially. Whether Rome stays this week or not, you know, he seems very proud of saving his showmance, which I would commend him on if they haven't gotten quite creepy this week with all of that talk the other day of Rome telling her that she only looks 18 and then she's always doing baby voices. Don't love all of that. I've never really liked this show, man. So Rome and Lyric on feeds together is not interesting at all. Lala is telling Rome that she would keep him this week, but I don't think anything is set in stone with this vote. Again, though, like I said yesterday, Rome does have a chance to stay with the votes this week. I do think it is possible. And it would make all of this drama that the vets caused for nothing. Lyric was in a conversation with Mallory and Melody, and Lyric said to Melody's face, "Best case scenario is Rome wins the blockbuster," which is a crazy thing to say to Melody's face, who's also on the block. Mallory said that she wants Melody to win. Lyric thinks that Melody has the votes to stay no matter what. They even talked about how others should get in a showmance. Mallory thinks Melody needs to get in a showmance with Drew. And Lyric said that Mallory needs to get in a showmance with Barrett, which Mallory said no, that's not happening. I don't know if Melody and Drew are ever going to get in a showmance either. Do I want them to? Not really. I want Melody away from Drew for her game, or at least have the epiphany that Drew is shit for her game and has been throwing her under the bus and is part of the reason she's in the position that she is. But I don't think Melody's ever going to have that epiphany. Dee started to have an epiphany yesterday that the vets could be fucked because there's people seething with this week and wanting to put them up. And that is really what Angela's paranoia accomplished for the vets this week, making them a bigger target, over the likes of Haley and Chuck and Kamu, although there are plenty of people in the house that are still targeting Haley because she is that damn hateful and annoying. But right after the renom yesterday and the veto ceremony, Dee was already talking about flipping the vote on Melody. Like I said yesterday would happen. This cast does like to waffle. And Dee is on that, thinking Melody is best to go this week. But as of right now, not enough people are biting on that possibility. But there are 2 more days to flip-flop. I think Dee kind of sees Melody as a threat to the Vets alliance with Drew. Melody does still have it out for Jason, though. Like, she's been talking a lot about if both her and Jason stay and she wins the next HOH, Jason would be one of her nominations, which would be very stupid. So I'm still content if Melody goes because she is still playing emotional. Like, I do think Melody is someone that can play hard and have a good game. She's a Pisces, and as a fellow Pisces, I can see the emotional side of her, and it's going to hold her back from good decision making, unfortunately. Angela had an idea yesterday with Dee that her, Dee, Taylor, and Lala should do something. They ran this by Taylor, which Taylor said she's not mad about. She already talks to all 3 of them, though I wouldn't say she overly talks game with them. Taylor and Lala have since discussed that possibility, and even though I think Lala doesn't want Angela to get too far still, they seem on board with that possible foursome, which it is good to see Dee and Angela branching out with other people that are not in that stupid-ass 8-person alliance. Last night, Dee taught Kamu how to kiss Haley or some shit. I missed the beginning of this. And the feeds were cutting a lot yesterday in general, and they cut during this part. And the angle was weird with Kamu on his tippy toes, kissing Haley, just showing off his dirty feet. I mean, how romantic, really. But I think the last thing this season needs is a growing Kamu and Haley showmance. No thank you. Rome is going around lying on Jason, trying to get a vote over Jason if it comes down to them on the block, which I do like. Rome needs to try and get the votes, even over Jason. That is what he should be doing. Jason is also counting votes, thinking about who he could get in each scenario. Good to see them both doing that. However, I do think both are going to count votes that they won't end up getting, like Drew. Drew and Barrett had a conversation yesterday about how they think that Devens would choose them over Dee and Angela. Barrett saying especially over Angela, which I think they're right about over Angela. I don't know if Devens would choose them over Dee. Not at this moment. He seems to listen to Dee the most. But Drew and Barrett did end up making a final 2. What a terrible thought that is. 2 rats, one of which is lazy, one of which is messy. No thank you on that either. Mallory is like one of the last hopes for the feeds to be shaken up. She is really on Drew's ass, has been for days, doesn't like the position he's in, says that Drew can be on the other side if he wants to. She's telling this to Melody. I still don't think Melody has had that big enough of an epiphany. But Mallory also pointing out that Drew has been in the DR a lot lately, wondering what Drew is scheming. Mallory is on top of things. I think an HOH from Mallory next would really shake up the house. But it needs to happen before it's too late, because the house structure right now, not looking great. And if it's the same in a few weeks, we're going to be completely bored to sleep. Devens is clocking Mallory, though, saying that Mallory is someone that's probably going to take a big shot and that Mallory has had it out for the returnees. So Mallory could get sniped before she's able to shake up the house. Like I said a bit earlier, Drew is also like getting it from Dee now. At first, he was always getting it from Angela in that alliance, but now Dee also thinks that Drew is playing hard, which he is. She has noticed how Drew is always doing damage control with every group in the house after any sort of argument. And Devens thinks that everyone is noticing that about Drew. Drew did interrupt that conversation when they were pointing out the flaws in Drew's game. Later, Angela did say that if she gets HOH, she would love to backdoor Drew. I could see that happening. Angela has been very messy this season. As for me, honestly, I wouldn't mind if production puts in some Taylor Farms salads in their grocery order soon, and Cyclospora can speed up this game and eliminate some of these boring people via the runs. I would love for this game to be sped up from this point that we are in the game, because feeds are not delightful. They are not like, it's very hard to watch consistently over time. And the amount of feed cuts yesterday didn't help. Yesterday was the worst day of feed cuts. There's been some bad days. Yesterday was the worst one yet.